The morning after the wedding felt strangely quiet. Most of the decorations were still up. A few ribbons hung from the staircase rail, and the living room smelled faintly of flowers that were already beginning to wilt. 2 suitcases sat by the door, ready for the airport. Our honeymoon flight was scheduled for noon. I woke early, more out of habit than excitement, and started gathering the last things for the trip: chargers, documents, my passport. Except my passport wasn't where I left it. At first I assumed I had simply misplaced it. Weddings have a way of scattering things across rooms and bags and pockets. I checked the dresser. Then my purse. Then the small folder where I keep travel documents. Nothing. In the kitchen, my husband stood pouring coffee like it was any other morning. "Have you seen my passport?" I asked. He didn't turn around immediately. "No idea," he said. I kept searching. The house wasn't large, and passports don't disappear easily. A small unease began forming in my stomach. Then I heard the front door open. My mother-in-law walked in, pulling a rolling suitcase behind her. She looked very comfortable, like someone arriving exactly where she expected to be. "Oh good," she said. "You're both up." I stood in the hallway, still holding the empty document folder. "Why do you have luggage?" I asked. My husband took a slow sip of coffee before answering. "I'm going on the trip with Mom." For a moment I thought I misunderstood. "Our honeymoon trip?" I asked. He nodded casually. "You can stay home. We'll reschedule something later." My mother-in-law set her suitcase beside the others near the door. "You shouldn't make this complicated," she added, almost kindly. "He paid for everything, so naturally he decides how the trip works." There was a small pause. Then she said it more directly. "You must obey your husband in these matters." The sentence hung in the air, like it belonged to a different century. I looked at my husband. He didn't correct her. Instead, he leaned against the counter and shrugged slightly. "It's not a big deal," he said. "Mom hasn't traveled in years. I thought this would make her happy." "And my passport?" I asked. Another sip of coffee. "You probably misplaced it." Something about the calmness of the moment felt almost theatrical. Like a scene they had rehearsed. The suitcase by the door. My missing passport. The convenient explanation about money. I felt the unease inside me slowly change shape. And before I could stop it, I started laughing. Not loudly. Just a quiet laugh that kept slipping out no matter how much I tried to contain it. My husband frowned. "What's funny?" My mother-in-law crossed her arms. "Yes, I'd like to know that too." I leaned against the wall and wiped a tear from the corner of my eye. "I'm sorry," I said. "It's just the situation." Neither of them looked amused. "You're being dramatic," my husband said. "Maybe." I walked over to the table and picked up my phone. "Let me understand this correctly," I said. "You're taking your mother on the honeymoon trip because you paid for everything." "That's right. And because of that, I should stay home." "Was?" My mother-in-law nodded approvingly. "Exactly." I laughed again, softer this time. "Okay," I said. "That helps." My husband watched me carefully now. "What are you doing?" "Just checking something." I opened the email thread with the travel agency. Months earlier, when my husband had struggled to finalize the bookings, I stepped in quietly. My company maintains a corporate travel account, and it's often easier for me to arrange complex reservations through it. Flights, the resort, transportation packages. Everything had gone through my account authorization. At the time it didn't feel important who technically paid. Apparently it mattered now. I sent a short message to the agent handling the booking. "Primary traveler authorization withdrawn. Please pause ticket activation until further confirmation." A reply came within 2 minutes. Then my phone rang. The travel agent spoke in the calm, careful tone professionals use when paperwork is involved. "We received your request," she said. "Just to confirm, without your passport verification and account authorization, the tickets cannot be issued to other travelers." "That's correct," I said. My husband was watching me now. "What did you just do?" he asked. "I ended the call." Then I looked at him. The trip, I said gently, was booked through my account. He blinked. What? The flights, the resort package, the transfers. All under my corporate authorization. That's impossible. I paid for it. You told your family you did, I said. My mother-in-law frowned. What is she talking about? I held up my phone and showed the confirmation email. Primary account holder. Primary authorization. My husband stared at the screen. They said the tickets can't be activated without my passport, I added. Which, conveniently, seems to have disappeared. The room felt quieter than before. For the first time that morning, my husband didn't have a quick answer. So, I said, if you and your mother would like to take that trip, you'll probably need to book your own. My mother-in-law looked at him sharply. You said everything was handled. He didn't respond. I walked toward the front door and picked up my suitcase. Where are you going? He asked. I haven't decided yet. The truth was I hadn't. The honeymoon we planned might still happen. Or it might not. What mattered was something simpler. For the first time since the wedding began, the story about obedience had quietly fallen apart. And standing there with my suitcase in my hand, I realized something I hadn't allowed myself to admit before. Control only works when the other person believes they have none. I stepped outside into the morning air. Behind me, the house had become very quiet.